What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be going over my trading for the day. So as you guys remember, or obviously you have no clue of because I have not mentioned it, but I passed my account, which that is what you guys remember. So now I'm on the live account, and I was in drawdown negative 900 because I took 3 trades over that Hawaii break, and I learned big from those trades that number one, don't trade when you're not in the mindset for trading. Number two, only take your trade that you know is the mechanical trade, because if you're taking just the technical version of the trade and you're letting go of the time of day, you're letting go the high time frame bias and those sort of things, then your trade is not going to be nearly as powerful as the fully mechanical trade is, which is when your high time frame bias is in play, which is when you're doing it at the average median time, which all your entries are in a macro. In these sort of situations, you have to have enough circumstances that increase the probability of your trade. But today, let's see if it's still up. Okay, yeah, so it was, now I'm down negative 300, and it was a good day, but there was definitely a lot more learning to be done than, like there's a lot more lessons I can take out of today rather than things that I did well. I mean, obviously I can go through the name things I've done well, but I feel as if it does not give me as much benefit as going over the things I can improve. So today I was watching price here, and I only got interested once price dropped below this, closing below this fair value gap, and I shorted once price came back up inside this inverse fair value gap. And I shorted 2 contracts, and I went through some drawdown. And then price went to the internal low by the end of this candle right here, and it shot back up, so I exited out around the low, just my full position, because I knew that price could easily sweep this low and then go ahead and inverse this right here, or go and move higher. You know, I wasn't completely sure, but looking back, I need to understand that usually the first clean inversion will predict the bias, and along with that, you have to look at the what price is doing. This is a power of 3, extremely easily power of 3 with the accumulation, that manipulation, and distribution lower, and um, this is a clean inversion. So yeah, we get that move lower, we get that inverse higher, and yet we take out the high, and now we're tapping back into that inverse fair value gap, and you can notice at this point the high probability of this. And yes, this inversion doesn't work, but it then works after. And what I was kind of at this point, I was kind of annoyed with myself because I knew that if I just held that position longer, I either would have been able to exit lower here, which would have been like 20 points lower, or I would have held through all of this and been up a couple of 100 points. I know I probably wouldn't have held through this, but I would have been at least able to hold a little bit past this low until maybe this low right here, where I could have exited it out. And you know, you're in a good position when your main critique is that if you just held the trade longer, you would have made a shit ton more money, because that means you're doing something right. So you just have to continue doing what you're doing right, which is taking the trades at the same time per day, the first clean inversion with that nice liquidity sweep. Obviously, the liquidity sweep will be in secret sometimes. So yeah, the next trade I took was, I wasn't really planning on taking a trade. I was up a little bit, and I was feeling pretty, had that fear of missing out, but I decided to, just keep watching the market, because I knew that there would be another trade in this day because the price action was pretty clean. So price inversed this, and I was thinking you could go short here. So I went short here, and I added in here, and then I just stopped out here because price went down, and then it came back in, not in the way I liked it. I exited short. I entered short again under this contract right here once we created that, because what I didn't like was when price closed above this, we just created this order block right here, but then we moved that order block down here, and now we're using this order block to go have deliver price lower. So I entered off that order block in here, and then I bought back majority of the profits down here. And again, at this trade, it was a good like 15 point play, so it was good, and I made like 300 from this, and I didn't make the money from obviously having the expectation of making money. I made the money from following my rules and understanding that this was a model that I was willing to take, and especially when we don't close above that inverse fair value gap, it gives me the conviction that we're at least going to hit this low. I was 100% sure we were going to hit this low. Other than that, I wasn't sure. And yeah, I was trying to target these equal lows and high time frame low, which I should have held one contract to, but I'm trying to get better in that. And I think that kind of comes from just being able to trust your model. And trusting your model doesn't mean you have to force anything. I learned that today, that if you trust something, you're not going to force it. So if you trust your model to play out, you trust yourself to take it and size it correctly, there's nothing you have to force. You just have to be there at the time. Or if you trust your girlfriend to not cheat on you, there's nothing to do. You're not going to be like forcing her not to cheat on you because she already does it. So it's just some of these things that when you trust it, you do not have to try. So I'm going to try to implement that more into my trading and stop trying as much. Just let the market do its thing with the Dow, not the Dow Jones, but the DAO, the Tao, the spirit that drives everything, the understanding behind every action is that if you do, the less you do, what is it? Do nothing but leave nothing undone, So, all right, well, this is a good recap for today, and then I'm also going to do the other recap. Thank you.